Ebenezer, not just radio. This is the police with the Duke. I did promise you that tonight I'll be bringing you Utokotela Wabantu all the way from Witbank, and she is sometimes seen in places that you would not imagine, and that is around Rudiport. I think I've seen her around the mountains. You know, when our president or our former president Thabo Mbeki said the hills and the mountains and the what, she is found in all those things or in and around. Her name is Mary Jane Tulisile Wakoshabang. Dokotela Wabantu.
Hi, how are you?
I am great. And yourself?
I am well, thank you. Also, with regards to me being seen in Roodepoort, I can neither deny nor confirm that.
Oh, okay. Is it a holy visitation?
Listen, I plead the fifth.
Good to hear that you're well kicking and you're happy and you're still alive, man. It's been long. We've been around up and
Yeah, I
down,
know.
eh?
It has been a while and we have been around. We keep moving from one place to another. I see the
Yes.
growth. I love it. I enjoy it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
amazing.
Today we're dealing with a very touchy subject, and that is that of grief.
Mm-hmm.
And not just grief, but dealing with it. And maybe before people understand the dealing part of it, unpack grief. What is grief?
Okay. So when we speak about grief, we're speaking about the process of feeling the natural, the difficult emotions that follow as a result of a loss, right? So for example, like the death of a loved one. And then futhi, we further then separate it from uncomplicated grief and complicated grief. So
Okay.
it's not just grief, but then you do find complicated and uncomplicated grief, right? So I'll
Okay.
go into it a bit. So with uncomplicated grief, Lapo, we are referring to a natural response to the loss of a loved one, like I've said earlier on, whereby the symptoms improve after 6 months and they resolve within a year, right?
Okay.
So basically, you've lost someone or you've lost something, because grief is not only, or rather, grief does not only come as a result of having lost a person, but it can be as a result of having lost, a relationship, or having lost money, or having lost your possessions, right?
Oh,
So
that is
you
also
also
grieving.
grieve
Oh, okay.
those things. But more often than not, when we speak about grief, we think of ukshonelo. So uncomplicated grief is that one where symptoms after like 6 months to a year, they are resolved. Ne? Whereas with complicated grief, you experience intense emotions, longing, and preoccupation with memories of the person that has passed away. So you can't seem to get over the fact that this person Ushonile, you long for them, you are preoccupied with the memories that you had with this person, right? And symptoms or corner, they include a strong disbelief about the death. So basically you struggle to believe what man, lo muntu lo ushonile, right? Another thing that happens is that you avoid reminders of the death of that specific person. So anything that reminds you of ukushona kwaloyo muntu loyo, you want nothing to do with it. You don't want to remember. You avoid any and everything ekukhumbuza ukushona kwaloyo muntu loyo, right? And then another symptom includes anger, bitterness, or other strong emotional reactions, right? So nokubona mhlambe, let's say umuntu ushonelwe, then every time they speak about that person, they become angry or they become bitter or they show very strong emotional reactions as a result of them not actually having processed ukushona kwaloyo muntu loyo and going through complicated grief. And then the last one from Langzenzo's mention, and it's not just Lezing is mentioning Lekpela, but I'm just mentioning these four. The last one is withdrawing from social activities. They used to go to church if they were a churchgoer. They used to go out with their friends if they used to go out. They used to do something like things with other people, but now all of a sudden they are withdrawing from those social activities as a result of them having lost the person that they have lost. Yeah, so complicated grief, you do not get over ukushona kwaloyo muntu lo. And by get over, we don't mean ukuthi uyamkhohlwa ukuthi ushonile and whatnot, but we're referring to the fact that you are able to continue living, you know, continue to live your life and do things that you used to do prior to that person passing away. And that is what we would then term as complicated grief.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
There is instances where, and I've seen it with me, where I've lost my best friend, and that was 2018. However, before him, I had lost a best friend still, and that was 2013. Okay. And after having lost my second best friend, I then withdrew from having friends.
Okay.
What would you classify that as? And my second question would be, this thing of when they passed on, I didn't break down.
Okay.
Come the funeral, like I'm even making jokes and all that. It's only after about 3 months, and then now I'm hit with this thing. So just those two questions. What's happening there?
Okay. So your questions are: the first one, after having lost both your best friends, you then started withdrawing from having friends, right?
Yes.
And the second one speaks to you during the preparation or during the week of the funeral, or even at the funeral, you were okay, you were making jokes, you were laughing, and it only hit you 3 months later.
Yes.
Okay. With the first one, so what you were actually doing was to protect yourself. Now, it was a defense mechanism because you did not want to experience that hurt ever again in your life. So then what you saw as the best remedy is for you not to grow close to people, because you are going to, or you in your head, you believe you are going to lose those people either way. So you don't want to go through what you have been through with your two best friends. So because of that, because of wanting to avoid that pain, because of wanting to avoid going through that again, you then decided that actually, listen, I'm actually going to stop having friends, because when people get close to me, they then die, and I need to deal with losing them in that sense. Yeah.
Yes.
So what you did was to protect yourself. You basically put up a wall to say, "Ngizos protector," because actually this is not it, right? So that's the first thing that you were doing, or the answer to question number one. Question number two, let me explain it like this, or rather answer it like this. With grief, we've got what we call the 5 stages of grief. Né? The reason I'm explaining these stages is because lento oboyenza wena or lento beyenzakala kuwe actually speaks to one of the stages of grief, which is denial, but I'll get into it a bit later. Né?
Okay.
So these 5 stages of grief are acceptance, depression, anger, denial, and bargaining. Né? It's very important to note ukuthi akusho ukuthi acceptance number 1 noma bargaining number 5, right? And that uzoqala from bargaining and then uye ku depression and then uye ku denial, etc., etc. But they go, however, they are haphazard in how they happen, right?
Okay.
And if Mary Jane uqale ngo-anger and then she went to depression and she went to bargaining, it doesn't mean ukuthi ujuk na is going to go through the same. Ujuk might start with denial and then go to anger and then go to acceptance, right?
Okay.
So let me explain the stages, and then I'll end off with the one that is an answer to your question. So the stage, say anger. The symptoms that you experience here are frustration, irritation, and anxiety. It's what I explained a bit earlier. When we speak about the deceased person, ne? If they see photos, whatever that surrounds the death of that specific person, if it's spoken about or it is discussed or whatever, they become angry. Ne? And then another thing is that they also blame either themselves or other people, right, for the death of that specific person. I've seen this so many times, especially when umuntu has passed away in a government hospital. Family members then start blaming the hospital. Yeah, Bele Hospital A, B, and C is a terrible hospital. That's why EFG passed away, because of the state of that hospital, right? We don't take into account the fact that this person was sick or what other mitigating factors were there that led to this person dying. But because we are in so much pain, we want to find someone that can take the blame for ukshona kwa that person, and that is the stage is anger, ne?
Okay.
And then there's also the stage of depression. So here you struggle to find meaning, reaching out to others, and you also want to always tell the story around the death of that specific person, right? So in the depressive stage, umuntu will not want to eat, they won't want to sit with people, they don't want to interact with those that are around them or their friends. They can't sleep, you know. Vele, the depressive symptoms that we see in people that are depressed, right? They struggle to see beyond what has happened. For them, it doesn't make sense to see impilo ingaqhubeka without the person that passed away, right? That's the depressive stage or the depression stage, né? And then we have the bargaining stage. So the bargaining stage, ama symptoms wakhona is that you are overwhelmed, you feel helpless, you are hostile, and you are in flight mode, right? But with a bargaining stage, it's important to note ukuthi here, it's mainly about you, like the term is self-explanatory. You are bargaining and asking, let's say, mhlambe you believe in God, then you'll be asking God to bring back Uzbanbani who passed away, and you start making promises like, if you bring them back, I'll start going to church, I'll start praying, I'll start tithing, I'll start doing one, two, three, you know. So that's the bargaining stage where you feel like, oh, this is too much, this person needs to come back. You feel helpless because you also don't know how to bring this person back. So you start looking at whatever it is that you believe to be a higher power, you know, and you bargain with them to bring this person back. That's the bargaining stage. The acceptance stage is essentially you then starting to accept ukuthi this person passed away. You start making plans to continue living. You start looking forward to ukuphila as you were before this person passed away. It's basically just accepting ukuthi umuntu lo ushonile, right? And then to answer your question, we'll speak about the denial stage, ne? In the denial stage, the symptoms or the things that happen is that you avoid, you are confused, you are in shock, and you are fearful, right? With what you were doing, ne? You were in the denial stage in that you did not want to accept, you were avoiding the situation for what it was at that point in time, right? But also, our bodies are very smart, our minds are very smart in that it suppresses certain things until such a time where it feels we are ready to deal with it.
Yo. Okay.
Denial happens because sometimes we are not ready to deal with this specific thing that is happening,
Okay.
because if we deal with it, maybe we're not strong enough, we might get sick, we might get anxiety attacks, we might not be okay after actually accepting Guti, this is what is happening. So then what the mind does is that it suppresses those things and pushes them down to the subconscious until such a time where you are ready to actually deal with it. And it's quite possible that for you, after 3 months, that's when you are in a better space for you to be able to deal with the passing of your friend, you know. Whereas during the funeral or leading to, or before that 3 months rather, you weren't in a space where you could emotionally deal with what was happening. Therefore, you were in the denial stage, right? In denial stage, ubona, even when like a mom has lost a child, ubona umama washiza impahla zomntwana ongasekho, ayine azipakishe wardrobini, every week uyazkhipha because they are in denial ukuthi umntwana is no longer there, you know. Ubona umama who has lost a husband, but she speaks about the husband as if he's still there, right? She hasn't gotten to a space where she's ready to accept, and therefore the mind is allowing all of this to happen, you know. What people don't understand though with not dealing with grief is that it can actually make you sick. And what I mean by that is that it can make you emotionally and mentally sick, right? So you can develop things like anxiety, you can develop an issue of like being able to deal with your daily tasks. Another thing that can happen is that you can actually have physical health issues whereby your immune system is weakened and you become susceptible to illnesses such as what we call opportunistic infections, like about TB, nabo pneumonia, nabo respiratory tract infections, right?
What?
Yes,
All
grief
from
can actually make you sick.
what? Okay.
Yes, it can make you sick.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, because Anisha, in that at that point in time, you're not doing well. Pela, remember, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, you know. Amasotha omzimba, they are not strong.
Makes sense.
Amasotha
Makes
omzimba,
sense.
they are not doing well because emotionally, awungekho right emotionally na mentally, it also affects umzimba wakho.
Okay.
Kwesinye isikhathi uthola umuntu bathi une-stress and then sekaphathwa amakhanda. That is a physical, um, what do I call it? It's a physical symptom of stress, ukuphathwa ikhanda, right? So it's the same thing, Pella. When you are not doing well mentally and emotionally, you then get sick because your body is not doing well, your immune system is weakened, and then yeah, you're susceptible to illnesses that I was referring to earlier on as opportunistic infections, things like your TB pneumonia, your respiratory tract infections, right? You're also struggling to sleep, uphathwa makhanda, you've got digestive issues, and you're always tired, even though you can't really say, "But you know, man, ngivukile ngo-5 ngayenza so, ngayenza so, ngayenza so," you know, and that's why I'm tired. You can't attribute ukukhathala kwakho to anything, right?
Wow.
Another thing with grief is that it can lead you to the use of substances such as alcohol and drugs, right? Because people turn to those things as a result to cope. Because lama drugs, lama alcohol, they have a numbing agent where when you drink or when you smoke, kuba ngathi kuyayehla lokho okufilayo,
Yes.
ne?
Yes. Yes.
Yehlisa abanye bayibiza ngegwebu. I think in the black community
Yeah.
siyibiza
Yeah.
ngegwebu, right? Ngehla lelo gwebu yes. Ngehla lelo gwebu lelo, but the moment iplug liphela, that lelo gwebu lelo esikhuluma ngalo, it then comes up again. You remember ukuthi eish konje ushonile, you remember ukuthi eish konje I'm grieving, yabo. So kahle kahle, and that's why people then end up becoming addicted to substances when they are grieving, because you drink or you smoke and then it numbs you for a while. Mase iphelile i-alcohol nalama drugs in your system, you go back to remembering what's eish konje ushonile, and then you drink and you smoke. It's a vicious cycle because it actually doesn't help you, but it just numbs whatever you're feeling at that moment. My pelile, then you go back to remembering, which okay, actually I've lost someone and I'm hurt, right? The last thing that it also does is that it can lead to suicidal thoughts and behaviors, as well as self-harming behaviors, right? So if you don't deal with the fact that I've lost this person that is important in my life, like I said, especially in the depressive stage, you start feeling like there's no need for me to live, there's no point for me to live, and that leads you to then starting to think about committing suicide or like cutting yourself, because a lot of the times people will tell you, it's, you know, if physical pain, I find in the emotional pain, because if physical pain, I can point out, like, kubuhlungu khona. Whereas the emotional pain, I can't show you, like, kubuhlungu khona. So even the cutting will help with that, for them to say, I feel pain, but I can show you where I feel the pain. Whereas with the emotional pain, I can't pinpoint and say, hey, this is actually where I'm feeling pain, right? So when we don't deal with trauma, these are some of the things that we can experience. So ultimately, I mean, with grief, ultimately, grief, if it is not dealt with, can make you sick.
Wow.
It can make you sick.
Shocking.
I've had, I mean, I've had conversations with people. This is not like a patient, but people that we've had conversations with, and they've also shared, "Uguti, you know, I got sick. I wasn't dealing with grief. I got sick. This and this and this and this and this happened." Other than the things that I've mentioned here, there's other illnesses that people have mentioned. Uguti, they've gotten those illnesses as a result of not dealing with their grief, you know. So it's very important for us to actually deal with grief when we lose someone that is important to us. I remember I was at an event where I was doing a talk, and I put together Amapepa I2, I glued them together, right? And then after a while, I tried to separate them. And obviously, Mangwa separator, the one paper, pieces of it, asala on the other one, and
Yes.
vice versa, right? And I was trying to show people who would see that is what happens with grief. When you are in a relationship with someone, whether a platonic one or a romantic one, right? You are somehow intertwined. You are one with this person because you spend time with them, you've lived with them and whatnot, right? So what happens when you separate? Pieces of you asala kulo muntu loyo and pieces of them asala kuwe. So when this person dies or when you get divorced or whatnot, Gyasala, there's no way that you would just be okay. You won't be okay because you've lost a part of you to this person that is now gone. A part of them also stays with you, you know. So that's why it's important for us to grieve when we have lost something, whether it's a spouse, whether we've lost somebody through death, whether you've lost possessions, whatever the case might be. When you've lost something, it's very important for you to go through the process of grieving that specific thing or that specific person that you have lost.
So, to the big question, how do
Yes.
I do that? How do I deal with that grief?
Look, Mina, my answer is always counseling or therapy, right? Because right now you and I can have a conversation as friends, ne? And because you're my friend, I'm not going to be objective. I'm not going to ask you difficult questions or make you do difficult things that are going to lead you to become okay, you know, because you understand the situation, yeah, you understand that, you know, I'll be very
But
subjective,
biased,
you
yeah.
know, I'll be very biased as well. Yeah, I understand. But with a person that is a professional, they are very objective. They also able to ask you difficult questions that you don't want to be asked and you don't want to answer. Questions that are going to help you to start processing and dealing with the grief, you know. So for me, how you deal with grief is by going to counseling so that you can start processing that hurt, that pain, those feelings around you losing that specific thing, you know. And also the thing is that khona ungafika manje and be like, yeah, but I went for counseling and it didn't help. I'm a huge believer in the fact that counseling only works if you want it to work. Because sometimes we go to psychologists and counselors and we don't even tell them the truth, you
Ish,
know.
yeah, that's the
We're not
thing.
open. Yes, we're
That's
not open and
true.
honest about, yes, we're not open and honest about how we're feeling, like our raw emotions, you know. And the truth of the matter is, you can't heal what you conceal. Let's just be honest. Whatever you conceal, you cannot heal.
Mm.
You know, you
Mm.
can only heal something that you are exposing. Lento
Interesting.
oyifihlayo, forget it ukuthi izokuphola. It will only start ukuphola the moment you actually open up about it and you're open and you're honest with your counselor or your therapist or whoever it is that you are seeing in a professional capacity. Only then will you start to see the healing. And also, the healing does not happen overnight. I think maybe that's also another thing.
Oh,
Funama quick fix as people.
yes.
It doesn't happen overnight. You can't have lived 40 years with me, Duke, and then Nishone, and you expect to be healed within 2 days.
Whew.
It doesn't make sense. It
Whew.
was 40 years that we lived together.
Mm.
You
Mm.
can't
Mm.
expect to deal
Mm.
with all of that in 2 days.
Yo.
So the answer to your question is counseling or therapy, but also be willing to put in the work, be
Yes.
willing to go through the process, however long it takes. Because what we also don't realize is that if we don't deal with whatever we are going through, the grief that we are experiencing, we then will have issues with other relationships that we are in. You know, we won't be able to connect with others. We won't be able to build proper relationships. It's similar to what you were saying, Guti. You started isolating yourself, or rather, you started, excuse me, withdrawing from building friendships. And that's not a healthy thing. You know, you need friendships, you need to be around people. So when we don't deal with the grief, we also rob ourselves of that. You know, we can't have healthy relationships with those around us because, Tina, we don't know how to relate healthily because of defense mechanisms that we have put up, whatever the case might be. Um, but yeah, that's the answer.
Thank you very much. The last one question, as you were talking, I was thinking of myself in
Yeah.
20, I think it was 2015, 2016. So I went to
Mm-hmm.
see a professional, he's a psychologist there in Middleburg.
Okay.
And at the time,
Okay.
in my first marriage, and people will ask, how old are you, Duke? In my first marriage,
Yeah. No. I also would like to know, guys. Hey.
I'm old enough to be your mom's favorite boyfriend. So,
Hey, kid.
my first marriage, I had, so there were obviously issues, and then I got sick physically. I went to a doctor, and that doctor, he checked me, and he said, "But you're not, but you're fine. Everything is fine." And
Yeah.
then I started crying. And then he immediately made a call to his friend, Dr. Shabalala. He's a psychologist there. And
Yeah.
then he said, "Can you just go across the road? I've just made an appointment for you and all that." I was like, "Oh, okay." I
Yeah.
went there. Long story short, I got there and then started talking. And only there, I realized that what was bothering me was not just the marital issues, but I had underlining childhood traumas. And
Yeah.
for me, it was crazy because I did not know that I had childhood traumas. How does that
Yeah.
happen? Where how do you get to be unlocked of things that you never knew that were bothering you by a
Um,
professional?
yeah. I think it's through exposure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you had gotten divorced, you didn't know what's in underlying issues, you went for the doctor for something else,
Mm,
doctor or to the psychologist because of what happened. And then you get there and you realize that actually there's other things that are happening.
mm,
So how that happens is that say akula, we interact with people. Ne?
mm,
For example, when you know yourself to be a person that's very calm, you don't
mm,
snap. Ne?
mm,
All of a sudden you start snapping and you don't understand Uguti, why am I snapping? And then you remember Uguti, no man, I grew up in a house where vele snapping was normal, right? So because now you are in an environment where other people are showing you Uguti snapping is not normal, it starts then getting exposed. Uguti, oh, there's actually an issue here.
mm,
So because of exposure, because we meet people that are healthy in one part where we are not, or they are functional in a part
mm,
where we are not, and it exposes our dysfunction, right?
mm,
And when that dysfunction is exposed, you have two options. You either accept it and deal with it, or you just like, this is not true, or this is who I am. People must just like be okay with it.
ooh,
Um,
okay.
so it's through exposure, through interacting with people. I think I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but in my biography, when people ask me for ibayam, ne,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that's written there is that um people that are healthy emotionally and mentally relate with those around them from a place of health rather than a place of dysfunction,
Ooh,
right? So when we are healthy, we relate with people from a place of health. When we are dysfunctional, we relate with people from a place of dysfunction,
mm,
right?
mm,
So
mm,
ama childhood traumas wethu abanye we are even unaware which we have them.
mm.
But the more we interact and we are exposed to people that are healthy, those childhood traumas are exposed.
Hmm.
They are exposed, and then that's when we then need to start dealing with them. But more often than not, we don't want to.
Yeah.
We want to sit in that dysfunction because doing the work is difficult. But what we don't realize that difficult and detrimental not only to ourselves but to those around us, especially if you plan on getting married. Futsi, not even that, especially if you plan on interacting with people.
Hmm.
As long as kuzoba nabantu around you, it's very important for you to heal so that you relate with people from a place of health rather than a place of dysfunction. So I don't know if your question has been
It's
answered, but
100% answered.
yeah,
100%.
exposure to people that are healthy and functional, or instances, or places that are healthy and functional, we then see what's okay la in a childhood trauma. And I can't take a criticism because when I was a child, Ekagiti, they used to criticize me so much that I shut down every time somebody tries to correct me, even if they are correcting me and they're right,
Ooh,
you
okay.
know. So it's that.
Doc,
Yeah.
obviously, not. This is not a professional platform where one can be healed, but one can then pinpoint to maybe I need assistance.
Yeah.
How do people get hold of you? Where do they find you?
All right. On my social media pages, there's nothing about work. That is very intentional.
Okay.
Yeah. So if
It's
you would
everything
want
about
to get,
church that I know.
oh man, yeah, of course. I'll give up my number and I'll give up my number. That's where people can actually get hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
My number is 078 5075 650. I'll repeat it again, 078 5075 650. Please don't call me for any other thing but what we discussed.
Niyezwa bafana.
Not saying I want to think to can I take you out for lunch? No, you can't.
I want to discuss my childhood trauma.
No, you can't. It's only for professional purposes. But yes, that's how people can get hold of me. That number's on WhatsApp. You can reach me via phone call, SMS, iMessage. Yeah, that's how you can get hold of me.
Thank you so much. Really do appreciate your time. And I know we didn't agree on this, but folks, she'll be back next month. And she'll be back each and every month here on The Bliss with the Duke. Thank you so much, Doc. And may you have a great evening further.
Why am I not surprised? Anyway, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I suppose I'll be seeing you next month.
Next month it is. That was Mary Jane Tulisile Shabango. She is a counselor. Man, a registered one, by the way. Talking everything about dealing with grief. This is Ebenezer, not just radio, and you're still tuned in to The Bliss with your mother's favorite boyfriend.